Well, then why don't we start? Because by the time I read all the opening stuff, it's already after the meeting. John said he's gonna hook in a little bit later. Okay, so it's 4:04. Town of Lunenburg, in response to the COVID-19, is currently following the guidance of the Lunenburg Board of Health, Department of Public Health, and CDC regarding the virus, and steps communities can take place to prevent the spread of the town facilities currently closed to the public. In accordance to the governor's order suspending certain provisions, the open meeting law, and all public meetings being currently remotely. This meeting will be recorded and will be able to be found on the Lunenburg Access YouTube channel within 24 hours after the meeting. The following information is also provided for members of the public who would like to participate in the meeting. To participate remotely from the computer, please use the link below, which is on our agenda, or from a telephone, dial toll-free at 888-475-4499 to enter web bar ID 886-4150-7377. If you are not registered to Zoom, you will be asked for your name and your email. As a preliminary matter, again, my name is Dave McDonald, the chair of the Sewer Commission. I'd like to do a roll call to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond by the affirmative and state each member. Michael No.
Yep.
Carl Luck.
Here.
Jack Rodigans.
Present.
Barbara LaFave.
Here.
We know that Brett and John will be joining us momentarily. And you have to apologize, I'm losing my voice, which is a dream for some people. So if I have a hard time, it's I don't know why I'm losing my voice. Okay, so let's start this off. Announcements. Does anyone have any announcements? I only have one announcement. I just want to hope that everybody at home is safe during the COVID-19 situation that's going on. And remember that you're not alone. Everyone here is working together. And if the town of Lunenburg can help you in any way, or myself or anyone of the board, please reach out to us. In the meantime, we hope you're taking care of yourself and each other. Thank you. Barbara, do you have any announcements?
Yeah, I'm skipping around on the agenda, and I just think we want to announce that we have Jamie Rowe here from Whitman and Bingham and Jeff Fabini also for the 5763 Crossroad. I'm just announcing that we did confirm a change to the implementation date for everyone to replace their irrigation meters with a remote capacity unit. And that implementation date has been moved to September 1st. That was sent to all our irrigation customers along with the annual fee letter. So that's gone out.
Okay.
Okay.
And also the other public announcement we have is the town caucus has been canceled. We're going to be going through that as a committee a little bit later on. As of now, the town caucus has been canceled. Town elections are still scheduled for June 20th. So there's going to be a little bit of different ways you have to go out and vote, my friends. Public comment. Are there any public comments from anybody?
I have one, Dave.
Go ahead, Mr. Roggins.
I just want to bring to the commission's attention that was contacted only yesterday by a resident who lives on Mass Ave. They have replaced their septic system twice in 17 years. They're somewhat beside themselves. They feel they have a hardship. Now, we discussed, not optimistically, her tying into that large pressure line, which is my understanding has been dedicated to Meadowwoods. However, I would like to put this on an agenda item for next week, or not next week, your next meeting, and allow her to at least plead her case. I felt she should have the opportunity to come before the commission.
Barb, you have that?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, you.
Any other public comment? Okay.
Just a question on that one. I missed the address.
1564 Mass Ave.
Thank you. 1564. Thank you, Barb.
Yep.
Jack, whereabouts is that house?
It's just, if you know where, if you leave the primary school, travel east, you pass Connell Drive on your left, and it's 2 or 3 houses down there on your left on the same side.
Again, it's on the agenda for the next meeting.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, our first appointment tonight. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Our first appointment tonight is Jamie Rowe from William and Bingham in regards to 57 and 63 Crossroads Sewer Service Area. Jamie, it's up to you.
So we thank you for putting us on the agenda. We're respectfully requesting that we connect two houses, which will be designed and permitted off of Crossroad. And we'd like to connect those 2 houses to the sewer system, low pressure line within Crossroad. And Jeff Avini and I came this evening to the meeting to discuss this situation with you.
Okay, just for the information, Brett, can you hear us?
I can, I now just got audio, thank you.
Okay, so everybody, this is Brett Ramsden on the screen.
Hi, Brett.
How are you, sir?
And up in, on our place, we also have the owner of the property, and if you can introduce yourself.
No, Mr. Avini is an attorney.
He's the
Yes,
attorney.
I proposed owner. We have a P&S to purchase the 2 lots.
Okay, and you're the attorney for the proposed buyers?
Purchaser, correct. Matson Homes, Inc.
Okay, so to fill everybody in, there's, Brett, you still there?
I am, yes.
Okay, your
Thank
video.
you, gentlemen.
Just so you know, they have a sale for a piece of property at 57 and 50 and through 63 Crossroads. Everyone have the plot plan for that? Everyone see the plan that Barbara sent out? It's in your package.
Got it, yeah.
Sorry.
I have them and reviewed the materials.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I thought you asked if we all had the materials. I was saying, yes, I have the materials and I have reviewed the materials.
Okay, Mr. Luck, you have your hand up?
I have the plot plan that came out in the package. I don't have a plan of where the houses are. Is there such a plan available?
I don't think there's a
But we
plan.
have not designed them yet, Carl.
And will they remain within the sewer service area?
Yes.
Great. Keeps it simple. Thank you.
Within the 150 feet is what I wondered.
Yes.
Okay.
Jamie can confirm that. That's my
That's
understanding.
correct. Yep.
Yes.
And
Okay,
that's the discussion. We did bring this forward to the commission in March, just quickly. I had shown the picture of the GIS. And Carl, just to confirm, they were not originally charged betterment. So the intent when we were doing SRF was not to have them included. However, the way the map was drawn, it does include them. So within the
Yeah,
first 150 feet.
Yeah, I was trying to remember that night at the library that we were doing all that drawing. I don't think the intention was that they wouldn't be in the sewer service area or connected, but that because it was not known if where the house would go, we didn't assess betterments. But we certainly can do that now if they want to connect, I would think.
you know, Mr. Luck, I'm
But
glad.
stay within the sewer service area.
So Jamie, just so you can fill us all in, and again, Carl's right, we don't have a copy of a drawing, but you have 150 foot to put that house in. You keeping the house within the sewer service district?
Yes.
Okay, so to me, it's kind of simple. So guys, basically what we're voting on is, do we allow the property owner to build a house that's in a property that's within the sewer district? Only 150 feet of it is, and that's what we're voting on, if we can do that. And how do we charge for the betterment? Because he's got to pay for the betterment, or is it a privilege fee at this point?
Well, it's a privilege fee because it's after the fact, but it would be the same amount, I would assume, as the prior ones, which was 13,997.47.
Okay, any questions with that, Jamie or Jeff?
I believe my client's aware of that. I think it's part of your fee structure that it's on the website. So he's aware that there's going to be a charge to tie in.
Charge a tie-in plus the betterment itself.
Correct.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir, Mr. Luck?
Yeah, as Barb said, I forgot the number, but it's the privilege fee. She's correct. It's not a betterment anymore. It's a privilege fee. And it would equal the betterment that was assessed to the people who created that line, which is that new number, 13,000 or close to 14,000. So I think that's all pretty clear. I think it's pretty clear that it's in the sewer service area, as long as the house stays in the sewer service area, or at least the sewer line. The whole house doesn't even have to, but the sewer line can't cross it. That it's their right by our regulations.
Okay,
So I'm not sure that I think this communication is great, but I'm not sure that a vote is needed or even appropriate tonight, because before we would approve a connection, we would see the plan and make sure that the connection is done correctly and that the house is within, it doesn't cross the sewer service area. So but I don't think approving a connection tonight is appropriate.
I think I like to put a vote out there that would give them permission to go ahead to make
Purchase.
the connect. Yeah. So they
I would request that.
So as far as if it was me, I would want a approval from us as a commission that you can build a house within the 150-foot buffer and connect to sewer
Correct.
before I buy the property. And then when they do the architecturals and the designs, they would come back and get the final approval.
That'd be the application process.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way I would do it. Any objections to that procedure, the way we would do it?
No, I don't see any problem as long as the motion doesn't go beyond what's already their right in the regulations.
So
But if a motion makes them feel better, that's fine, but it can't go beyond what the regulations already allow.
right, so before we take a motion, I think everyone understands what we're looking for. Amy and Jeff, do you guys have any other questions?
Nope.
On
No,
what we're
I don't
doing
believe so.
Okay, so I want to have, anybody want to do a motion? Mr. Luck, since you brought that up.
Well, my motion would be that we would vote that they would be given the rights to connect as long as it's consistent with the sewer regulations.
Looking for a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
Is the only discussion would be, is that language, this is really for the, for the homeowner's benefit. Is that language meet your needs, Mr. Ivany, or?
I guess I'd like it maybe a little bit clearer that says that, they're going to be allowed that the house locations within the 150-foot SSA district, and then upon a proper application, they'll be allowed to tie in. I think that would be a little bit clearer.
Okay, I agree. I'd like to change my motion to that.
What do you said?
So again, 60, just so I get the addresses correct. Stay with me for a minute.
57 and 63.
57 and 63.
So 57 and 63 Cross Road are within the SSA sewer district and shall be allowed to tie in upon a proper application and the approval of that application.
It's okay with me.
So moved.
See, that's why you're an attorney, Jeff, and we're not.
Right? Who do I send my bill to? Do I send it?
Your client.
Jamie.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carl?
Carl, aye.
Aye for myself. Thank you guys for coming. Jamie, it's
Thank
great
you so
seeing you.
You too.
Nice meeting you, Bob.
I hope all is well with you and take care of yourself, okay?
Yeah, take care,
You
Jamie.
guys.
Thank you, folks.
Yeah, Jeff.
Thank you. Have a great night. Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, next item. You guys ready? I want to move on the agenda. Everybody have a copy of the agenda?
Yes.
It has a generator maintenance discussion first, but I want to get the RFP for the station operation maintenance out of the way. If we could. Anybody
agree with
have an
that.
objection to that? Now, did everybody get the mock-up copy of the RFP that we sent out?
Yes.
Okay, and it's not, I read it today. And again, I'm not a lawyer, but this is kind of, has really nothing to do, and again, I know someone's gonna bring it up. This is all just words, just mixing words up. Does anybody have any questions? Because I really don't want to go through each one, but does everyone kind of agree what the lawyer was trying to say in this contract?
I
He's
do.
not saying the contract's bad, he just wants to, he's doing his job, guys. And this is what I like about it. This is what should have been done the first contract that went to SWS. So I don't see anything in here that'll alarm me, and I'm gonna go to Carl, because Carl's looking like he has a lot of concerns. So Carl, why don't we go with you on this?
Well, I don't have, I'm looking puzzled because I was trying to imagine where you were going, Dave. We've got a pretty extensive input from both the town manager and council. And I agree with all of his comments. Some of them I tried to make during our discussions and didn't quite prevail. So I think he's done us, both Heather and Adam have done us a great service with these detailed inputs.
I agree.
But if they're not just a matter of, okay, we accept them, because, you know, in many cases it says recommend greater clarity. So
let
it
me,
gives us guidance, but it doesn't give us a document.
no, but I guess what I'm trying to say is the gist of the RFP, what we wanted is here. It's a good format. And I expected the lawyer to do comments like this, even when it said, you know, I'm looking at one page here, he has a comment where he has it blacked out, DPW, he put the word director next to it. I mean, he really read each one of these categories. So the question I have for you guys is, looking at it, does anything pop out to you? Because nothing really popped out to me except the verbiage. And that's something I think that Jack and Bob should sit down with our attorney and discuss the verbiage. The basic of the contract is here. And Mike, let me get your opinion on it. Have you seen the contract?
I've seen it. I didn't download it. I had already taken 2 trees out today. So, but my take on it was, you know, it went through town manager and the attorney, so I was good with it. So who am I to argue with a lawyer? We all know how that ends up.
Brett, what's your opinion on it?
Expensive.
I took a pretty good look at it, and it looks like everything we talked about. And I like the verbiage, and I think I like it. I'm ready to move forward.
Okay, so Carl, why don't you, I'm sorry, go ahead, Jack, sorry.
I think, to Carl's point, these are suggestions. Are we agreeing, are you agreeing that each of his suggestions should be added into the document by the attorney himself?
Well, normally, when we do something like this, when we go out to an RFP, he got the gist of the RFP, so his job now is to defend this if we ever have to go to court. So
Right.
he's putting this in here for one reason only, that's to defend him against, or the town, against any company that comes on board.
Right, but he suggests changes, so we have to incorporate that language into the existing document.
Yeah, if he's
Just
recommending.
one more step.
Yeah, but normally they would give the changes, send it back to you and to us. But this is something that, and if you look at them, and I know you have, is everything covered so that 5 years from now, you won't be sitting there going like, there's a misunderstanding. This is pretty clear to me, what the attorney wants to do. But again, I would have Adam make the changes. That's my opinion, unless something sticks out. And Carl, looks like something's sticking out in your head.
We certainly can do that, but I think Adam has you know, he's gone, you know, somewhat beyond, which is to his credit, just strictly sticking with legal, you know, with legalese, terms and conditions and so forth. he's tried some guidance based on the trouble we got in to try to remove some of the ambiguity that still exists. I'm putting words in his mouth, but that's what it looks like to me. He's saying there still is lack of clarity in the document. If he's willing to make it clear, that's fine, but I suspect we're asking him to step outside of the legal role and step into the sewer commission operations role. You know, he can't imagine what's in our mind. So I'm happy to try to get him to do it, except that costs a lot of money, and I'm not sure how he does it without reading minds. I think what he's saying is, here's some areas that are still ambiguous, or even worse, inconsistent within the document that, you know, somebody, commission, operations combined, you know, need to go, you know, or you'll have the same, you know, grayness and ambiguity you had before, and really, you know, although it's better, it's still not complete. So I guess my assessment is I don't know that it's, I don't know it's a task that is appropriately given to the lawyer, or if it's a task solution and operations really need to take one more step on. Not that I'm anxious to go dive into this, but, you know, he raises good, valid points, and that's what we asked him to do.
Yeah, but, well, again, that's what every RFP in town should go out for. I guess the question I got is, Bob, when did we receive this, on Friday or Monday?
Monday, I thought.
Okay, so, I mean, this is still premature, but I would reach out to Adam and say, what do you want us to do? Do you want us to rewrite this, or are these something that you want to put into the contract? Because again, we have the product, it's just a matter now of putting it together. We can do that, we can do what Carl was saying, go back and word it, but I don't think we need to. So if you can get some clarification on it, that would be great. That's what I would do.
I'm just trying to quit while you, so I'm trying to, his letter, because I'm sure I imagined it. I thought it was pretty clear that, you know, here's some areas of concern that you need to address, but I'm reading his letter. Yeah, it says, I continue to have many of the same concerns with the proposed scope of service that I have with the existing scope of service. I think it would benefit from a recognition and consolidation. It doesn't adequately differentiate, in my opinion, between those services to be provided for a monthly predetermined contract price and those that will be billed hourly as extras. And it fails to define many terms, as Heather also notes, such that the same ambiguities that are complicating our dealing with small water now persist in the revised scope.
Well,
Additionally, there are still many internal inconsistencies, which is a problem if the need to enforce arises. So he's saying that the document needs work, and he's not saying it's, you know, I'd be happy to do it, or he can do it, but the document needs work. It's pretty clear that his opinion is that this document, you know, has many of the same faults that got us in trouble as the prior document, and that it needs work.
So I think what,
Now, who does that work and how it gets done, I think is the subject.
well, the only thing I got out of all that, reading all this, was what is if you're bidding is, what are you bidding on? So you got a scope of services. That scope of services is going to be mainly by the hour as you go forward. Then you have what you're doing the contract for, which is basically maintaining the system daily and fixing the small things. Is that not correct? Is that right? So I think what he's looking at is 24/7. Is that part of the contract that's going out to bid, or is it part of the scope of work? And naturally, it's part of the scope of work. Is that correct, Jack? What I'm trying to say?
You're asking me that question?
Yes.
I think there's another conversation that has to be had with the attorney.
Yeah.
And I'll be happy to have it. I wouldn't be putting any words in his mouth or betraying the commission. And ask him to clarify that language. Would have to come before the commission anyway on a vote. So he has made recommendations. Some of Some of the comments are just additions and deletions, but he has made recommendations for clarification. We could ask his help if he would do it, to put that language in there. And once that was in there and he was satisfied in terms of the clarity and being able to defend the document, if it ever came to that, then that document could come before this commission for a final vote or a final discussion and a vote.
I would feel more comfortable, and again, I'm just saying for me, that I would feel more comfortable if you and Barb talk to Adam and say, listen, this is what we and the commission wanted to do. How do we go from there? And if they want us to rework it, then the commission will do it. If it's a part of re-scoping it as far as this is what we're looking to do, then you guys can do it. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think he's looking to reinvent the wheel.
No,
I don't think he's looking to redo the entire document, but I think there are points where he'd like to see more clarity.
well, the 24/7 is one of them, but the
Well,
24/7 is your opinion, my opinion, Carl's opinion.
That's, there's a couple, the markups, and so let's take another, if it's okay with you, let's take, Barb and I could take a run at them and get a more clear, precise document for your review.
Yeah, I think that's the way I would do it. Mike, what do you think?
Sounds good to me. I mean,
Yeah,
checked in with them, and the two of them, away they go. So
I'm not calling out in any specific order. I'm just going across the screen here. So, Carl, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I'd like Jack's suggestion that as a next step, if a significant, change, or if Jack, Barb, get concerned that maybe the direction is going different than the direction that was intended by the commission, then it comes back to the commission. It's going to come back to the commission anyway, before it goes to bid. So I like Jack's approach.
Yeah, I think by them taking a crack at it, it's the most effective way to do it. I also knew that we're going to get some of these comments back too. So this isn't a surprise to me, but it is what it is. Brett, what do you think?
Well, last thing we want is our brand new document coming back and backfiring on us. So yeah, I'm on board. Let's do that. This makes sense to me.
So, Mr. Chairman, just as a clear, and I'm sure Jack and Barbara are planning this, but just so it's, because Heather had some, some very valuable inputs too. So I assume when they go offline, they'll also pull in and address Heather's comments.
Of course, yeah, always.
Now, we're still okay on the deadlines too, so.
Well, we don't have it, yeah, all that, Dave, really, a lot of what Heather put in were dates and mechanics, which made sense. Clearly, those dates can be adjusted the longer we get drawn out. But be comfortable with the work that MP is doing. And we said from the get-go, we wanted to get this out in a timely manner, but more importantly, we wanted to get it right, which is our task and which is what we're doing presently. And if that takes an extra couple of weeks or not, there's an understanding with our present technician that he'll stay on.
Okay, good. Everybody comfortable with that?
Bam.
I'm good.
Yep.
And again, make sure if you can, Jack and Barb, give our thanks to Al from the commission. Thank you for a job well done so far. Okay, now let's put the generator maintenance back in there. Everybody have a copy of the scope for the generators?
Yes.
And primarily, it's the same thing that we just did before. And the question I got is, after looking at this, are we overcomplicating this generator policy? Or should it be simpler? We just want a company coming in and service our generators. Carl, go ahead.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth, Dave. I think we're overcomplicating it, and the document as we have it, may actually be not as good as going simpler. I mean, essentially, I think what we're looking for is a generator company can do the the regular maintenance, which I think we did homework on, injected homework on, and determined it was 2 maintenance events a year, a minor and a major. And that other than that, it's basically respond to failures. So I don't know that we need a big complicated document contract in order to do that. I think it'd be good to get a quote or several quotes from people for those 2 maintenance events. And I know the one we used to use, FM Generator, you know, had a price just for those 2 events. You know, we could easily go out, and I don't even know, maybe Jack knows procurement wise what we would have to do to simply go get quotes from the 2 or 3 usual suspects to get those major maintenance items done for a fixed amount, and then simply be, you know, our generator guy on call. So I think we're overcomplicating it with the, you know, with the big procurement document.
And the only problem we have is that it's etching our brains that you have to do procurement laws, you have to go out to bid, blah, blah, blah. But I think it comes down to is how can we get a company to come in and do exactly what you said, Carl, but without a 14-page document saying, all we want is a person that we have on call.
Well, what is the anticipated cost of the agreement?
Would you have in the
Mr.
budget?
Chairman, if I could, I have one data point, because when we were, not long ago, when we were doing something related to the whole thing, I had contacted FM Generator, and Barb has the records, but it was their recollection that the 2 maintenance events, the 2, you know, regularly scheduled maintenance from FM Generator was like $5,700.
Okay, that's well below the ceiling to go through all the extensive procurement. But just let me interject that I don't know the one you have before you, but there was some talk about going to a single maintenance event. And I know I floated that document, so I don't know, maybe that was intercepted and turned back into a major and a minor. But what's the one you have in front of you tonight?
The one we have is that 7-page scope of work for generator services.
Is that a major and a minor service or one service per year?
A major service and a minor service. Yep.
Yeah, I agree with Jack that we had talked about that we were going to go to 1 because seemed like there was no reason to have them in twice.
Well, Mike, let me ask you a question. If we solicited a generator company, like Carl said, and asked and said, this is what we have 10 generators. We want them working. They should be telling us what to do. Here's a price. Well, for the year, general maintenance, we'll check them. And the only reason why I'm bringing this up is my generator crapped out the other day and the guy came and fixed it at no charge because it's a Generac under warranty. But I asked him, and I forgot, it's an electrician, like, how do you do this? He goes, I do it just on call. He says, once a year we come and change the oil and all that stuff. And they usually do it in the fall. So I think looking at this and from all our experience, I just sat there and said, do we need all this or can we just simplify it?
Well, I think some of that, Dave, some of that came from Wright Pierce. That lengthy list came from Wright Pierce.
Yeah, you know.
All this wording here?
What was that, Brett?
All this wording came from Frank Pierce? Is that what
Not all the wording, and I agree, we don't need such a large document for such a small, albeit valuable service. But when we put together, when I was asked to put together a scope of work and things that should be checked in this service, we had a list that I was assisted by Al, and then we had another list where was supplemented in Wright Pierce's maintenance program. That's where that list came from. In terms of boilerplate and everything that we're putting into the other RFP, we definitely don't need it here. This is well below $25,000, and we can actually just sit and discuss with 2 or 3, at least a minimum of 3 generator companies, and bring that information to the commission for a discussion and a vote.
Like it.
Much less formal because of the value of the service.
You have your hand up?
It was just to say that a number, little Roman numeral 6, it did say we would perform the maintenance annually. And then the major says includes minor. So it was written to just be major once a year.
Carl?
Yeah, I support what Jack was saying. I don't think, and what you're saying, Dave. And I just bought one of those Generacs myself, so I know what their maintenance plan is, and I think it's simple. I think probably once a year is fine. I think that the generator people should be able to tell us, what's the right maintenance, schedule, and they could work with Jack on what happens once a year or more, and we just go to bids, or if we have to, or if Jack's comfortable with a particular supplier who's worked on these a lot, and we issue the contract if that's a procurement.
Well, I think
I think we do that.
to be safe, we get something for our file, a written quote, and it can be put in our file, and then we can make a very informal decision with the commission.
Right.
I mean, I think that's going to save us boatloads of money at the end of the year.
It very well could.
Speaking of money, how much did that generator setup cost, Carl?
The generator alone, it's a 22 kilowatt. The generator, I think, was right around 5,000. I think it almost doubled that by the time, because as you know, it's always the installation and the uniqueness of the electrical panels and ton of work.
Yeah.
The whole thing was close to 10 grand before I was done.
Sorry to get off topic. I just
Sorry. It's well worth it. The power went out the other day. I was so happy.
Well, I know, and we have that discussion every time the power goes out, but I get back into it, Dave. I'm sorry.
No, but you know what? I have a guy.
You got a guy.
I mean, they're very good to have. If you want, I can give you his name after. But they are good to have, especially.
Okay, I know. All right, let's get back on it. Sorry to get you off track.
All right, so Mike, your opinion on the generator?
I like Jack's idea. Just keep it simple. Put it out for bid, get 3 bids. We compare them, and that's it. Nice and easy.
Brett?
Simple is good. Can't beat simple.
Okay, so the only thing we need to do is put a number in for budgets. And anybody have any ideas?
You have a number.
Right.
The old contract, as I recall, from Whitewater, actually, I could have sworn I saw a number of $10,000 in there regarding generators.
Yeah, I thought we had 11. But
We had 11 for.
that's
FY
right. Yeah, I mean, there's a number in there that's comfortable.
Let's tell Bob.
That sounds low to me.
I like Cal's idea of the 57 because it's
That's just the
public,
maintenance, right?
but it's still it's public knowledge, and if somebody's bidding and knows enough to dig far enough, they'll know, give an idea what we're looking at. I'm not saying it'll hit at that, but why put a big number in, have them see that and say, oh wow, this is a walk in the park.
Well, just so you know, I think Barb, you probably looked it up. I thought it was like 11 at the end of the day that we had in for generator.
For FY
And that
21, yeah.
would, that would be the annual or semi-annual maintenance, but also any repairs. So you don't want to spend the whole 11 on the annual maintenance.
Yeah, that's beyond, you're right. That's beyond
That's it.
the grease job and oil change. Now, they're not ancient, but we did incur some pretty substantial invoices for repairs. So we can't just put it, I would suggest that for your budget number, it's the maintenance plus what we have, generally what we have in there for repairs over the last fiscal year.
That's what I'm saying. What did we have in the last year? Use the same number.
So is that 11,000 number?
11. I just pulled up Barb's sheet. It's 11,000 what we have in the budget that's been approved.
So let's leave it at 11,000, but I just don't think we're going to spend it, and it's going to make it a lot easier for Jack and you guys to run the operation without all this crap. You guys agree?
Yeah, well, I mean, but you have to be comfortable with the budget number at this point. That's all.
You know what, Jack, it is what it is, and if you go back through history over the last 5 years, have we had anything above $11,000 for generators?
I think this was the high year by far.
Yeah, so I feel comfortable with 11. Carl?
Well, yeah, I'm very comfortable. I hope we can come under, because I think half of that is the annual maintenance. But if something, Jack's right, I mean, these are big, expensive pieces of equipment. If anything bigger happens, then it would fall in capital, and we have 20,000 in capital set aside. So there's other, our hands are not tied. From an operations, the normal point of view, the 11,000, I would imagine would be fine.
Okay. Brett, any comments?
Yeah, I agree. I'd be comfortable with 11 in the budget, and obviously any contractor we're working with doesn't need to see that number. Know what we have aside to make
but
their plans with. We're
that's
keeping it simple. So, we run into a problem, hopefully it's 2 years from now before we hit another big number on it. But if it ends up being 15,000 and this year it turns out to be a $7,000 a year, then we're covered.
Just keep in mind what we're doing here, guys. We are now eliminating the generator RFP and putting it under the sole direction of the DPW to hire someone under the guidance that
With-
speaks to another power.
With an agreed upon scope of work,
Yeah.
even in general, and an agreed upon frequency.
Mhm.
Apples for apple.
Apples for apples.
Yep.
But I guess as far as going out to bid, you still have to go out to bid, correct, or no?
No, I have to interview and solicit 3 written quotes.
Right.
I'm happy with that. I don't think we need a vote on this, but any other concerns?
No, the only other, I just wanted to clarify, because Jack made and the frequency. We're making it Jack's call, but I certainly am, and I think some others are certainly comfortable if he decided that one maintenance a year was fine. I certainly would support that.
I think that's all I do on mine. Actually, Carl, how much do you maintenance your generator?
Hopefully, it'll be due in 3 years when I get to 25 hours.
But they still test it. It still tests every week, right?
Oh, it does, just like our generators, Jack, our generators have self-tests and, self-diagnostics. That's what our generators do. But, in terms of getting down here and changing the oil and all those things, it's not due until 25 hours runtime. And all it does is every week it comes on for 10 minutes, exercises, does its diagnostics, and sends me a message saying all's well.
Yeah. Oh, you got that. That's nice. I don't have that. Okay, any questions? Let's move on to the next one. SWSS termination of contract. Barb?
Yes,
I'm good.
we did get a draft breach of contract or breach of default, notice of default, sorry, from council today. Everybody received a copy. I'm not sure if you all got to see it. But he did, he does agree that we can get it out there and it'll cover us. But the litigation decision will still remain with the selectmen as long, they have to be the final word.
And the way that works is that the selectmen will do it after this commission makes a case to the selectmen. So,
Makes a recommendation.
so I think I still have a problem, and this is something that I want to talk to you about. I don't want to talk out public about SWS right now. I think everything that we have to do, we should be doing in an executive session. Now, I know Adam said no, but I really want to talk to Adam about that because what happened, happened. But I don't think we should sit here and say, this is our plan, this is what we want to do. And that's my opinion. And I don't know if Adam feels the same. I don't think he does. He said we can discuss it, Bob. Am I not mistaken that?
Right, he was not in favor of an executive session at this time. Only if it was an imminent litigation would it need to go into executive session.
And I think we ought to request a meeting with him in the near future about which way we should go.
Council hours are coming up next week. I can ask then.
Okay. I think we should ask. Like I say, there's a lot of things that he should be telling us what to look for. And I think you and I talked about it already, about looking at some of the past billing. Start keeping a log of everything that is happening between the last day that SWS left to when their contract would have expired, anything like that, and just go back 1 year. And that's really we can go after. And after that, I don't think we should talk about it until talk to Adam. Anybody has any comments on that? Mike?
No, I'm good with it. I feel kind of strongly that hopefully, we do have some requests and if there's an opportunity, I'd like to see us be able to recover some of our losses there. So
I echo those feelings exactly. Carl?
Yeah, I guess first I just want to acknowledge, and I guess through Barb probably, thank Adam for, for creating this document that basically just keeps our foot in the door and gives us the ability to take action in the future. So I'm very happy that that's happening. And I read the letter, not that I'm legal, but it certainly seems to be a good document to me. I think regarding, action or not against small water, I certainly understand that at least so far this doesn't fall into a executive session discussion. If there's interest in going back and reading costs that we've spent, then we need to have some discussion on that and have to do some homework and dig up the history and story on that to even build a case with Adam and or the selectmen. My sense, short of somebody going and doing that work and showing us a claim we could make that we would actually realize, it usually has to be quite significant in order to be worth the legal fees and the time and energy going forward. I would more just keep a very close eye on between here and when we get our final contractor in place, and make sure that we capture any costs that are related to them in their breach. Those would be much easier to defend and recuperate than trying to go back and argue invoices for work in the past. So I don't have a lot of hope. I hope there isn't any financial damages going forward, that between what Jack and the contractor have done and moving forward, getting new contractor, that our users won't take much of a financial hit, and small water just goes away quietly and we all move on. But we do need to be sensitive and capture any costs that we think are a result of this discontinuity in service. Those are the ones I think you would want to really discuss pursuing, not the ones going back.
And Brett?
I really have nothing to add to what Carl just covered, but yeah, I'm good with it the way it is.
Okay. And again, my comment would be, let's talk to Alan, and he should be laying out a road for us to start following and go from there. Okay, next item is the budget for 212. Bob, go ahead.
Yeah, it was just on here to review the, that we did go to FinCom. That went well. I didn't hear any questions. I don't know if Dave, did you hear anything back after that?
I haven't even.
So, I mean, I think it went well. Dave, thank you very much. I think you did a great inaugural FinCom presentation. I also had on here just the rate increases. I talked with the forms people with Munis, and it will be on the next bill, so our users will know that there is a rate increase coming. And I will put it in a bill as an insert in our billing, so they're for sure aware of it, and put it on our website. I didn't know if there was more that was needed.
So Barb, just a quick, I'm not quite sure I understood. So are we going to notify the future rate increase in the next bill that goes out, or is the rate increase going to be in the next bill that goes out?
No, we're publicizing that it will be effective July 1st. So any usage from that point forward will be at the new rate, to be reflected in their October bill, or Q1, Q2, because it's kind of August, November actually, but Q1, Q2.
Great. And do we need to?
Go ahead, Paul. Go ahead.
Have we decided what the rate increase looks like on the rate and the minimum?
Going with 10%.
Yeah, it was 10%. The amount I think we proposed, we brought it up at the FinCom meeting, was 126. Current rate right now is 115 per thousand, and we're going to 126.50, which is 10%, and the minimum charge is going from 97.20 to 107, which is 10%.
Great.
Now, again, keep in mind, that's only phase one. So now the question I got, I think it was Passios who asked me, was, are we going to address the advertising of this? It's not a town meeting vote. Do you want to put an ad in the ledger? I would say no, just leave it in the bills. But I forgot how we did it last time we did this.
And the website, for anybody that, you know, is not necessarily receiving a bill, it'll be posted on our website.
Have you heard any feedback from anything?
No, I have
Oh,
not.
have you or Brett, anybody hear anything about the increase? No, I did send everybody, there was an ad in the ledger, I think, about the water bills. Those are going up too. I looked at it, I think I sent it. Did you, everybody see that?
I
Sent
didn't.
it to Barb.
Yeah, I did. I saw it.
I didn't want to do anything like that. It's just, it's part of doing business. So that's all I got about the bill. So anyone have any questions on it? And we're gonna have to rework this during the year, but I mean, at least we're over that hump, so.
Did the water department take a picture of the new building along with it, or curious?
Well, it's not completely finished yet, Mike.
Well,
The building is looking nice though.
yeah.
Go ahead, Barb.
Oh, okay. I had one more thing in that when the FY21 budget was finalized and it's gone before FinCom and everyone's seen it, the capital article transfer went from 29,000 to 30,000 in one of the several iterations of the budget. That just changes the article that you approved. And I just wanted to make sure you were aware, when we approved the articles, it was 29,000 was being transferred, and it is currently at 30,000 based on the budget approved. So just want you aware of that.
Okay, you confused me, Barb. We approved 30,000, but there's 29 on the.
When we were having to submit the articles in the middle of March, the amount was 29,000. We still worked on the budget after that.
Right.
And with the rate increase, it was determined that it turned out to be a $30,000 amount. So I just needed to confirm that the amount on the article that we approved in March was changed when the new budget went through. And Heather, because the new budget was voted in, is proceeding with the $30,000 figure that's on the budget.
But the article's staying at 29?
No, she's putting it through as 30.
Oh, okay, great. Okay, so there's no inconsistency. Great.
No, it just changed something that you had voted on. I just wanted you aware. But you have voted on the budget also, so supersedes it.
But guys, just so you know, thank you for everyone's input on the budget. I know it was a screwed up year, but everybody worked hard on that budget, and you know, I thought I was going to get crucified, but I didn't. So that was pretty good. So again, thank you for protecting us on that. It looked good.
Yeah, if I could, Mr. Chair, I want to thank you and Barb, because I thought you handled a fairly delicate situation and got all of the information to everybody, so there's full disclosure, and I think you did it in a good way. So thank you.
I was a little worried there with some of the questions. I got to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But you know,
I get there's some you stimulated more discussion than we usually have, so that was good. They were engaged. I like it.
I thought they were going to start picking you apart like vultures. And
I was just going to say it's Brett's fault. Okay, let's move on. 1170 Mass Ave. I don't want to hear this anymore.
Well, you're gonna keep, yeah. I had a final iteration from council earlier, and I sent it to Michael Ray because I know Adam had wanted us to have him confirm before you took a vote. So it went to him. He doesn't necessarily agree. We'll come back to it. It'll be on the next agenda.
Okay, work it out with Michael.
Yep.
Okay. Any questions on that from anybody? Okay. Next one is irrigation meters, fees, invoices, notices, implementation dates.
Yeah, I kind of covered that in the announcements, that the fees went out. The fees are due June 4th. And then the implementation date of 9/1. I've had a couple people call to withdraw from the program. So, I mean, they're reacting. I've got several calls and emails.
Is this where you start putting the pool policies? We still have that, the pool policy?
That actually is also going to be a part of my inserts with the billing. This is the time of year when we will let people know that if they're doing, pool fillings or new lawn, etc., that they'll have to submit an adjustment. So that'll go also in this bill coming up.
Okay. Any questions on anything like that? Okay, I want to turn it over to Mr. Luck, inflow infiltration, third-party review.
Oh, thank you, Dave. Caught me by surprise. Yeah, some good progress on that. Thanks to Barb squeezing in some things that they had discovered. If it's again, I apologize. I forget where we were last time. Woodward and Curran were working pretty diligently on our pump stations, sub-zones, sub-regions, in order to try to get a look at the town. Where's the I&I coming from? And they did some pretty significant gaps in the pump station data. I think Barb was able to fill some of those with information she had. Woodward and Curran was trying to get information from small water directly. And they told them that there was a multi-month gap in the data for some reason, which caught my eye, because that's the one thing that small water still owes us. And if they've got data we need, that's one of the things we should go back to them to get. But maybe before I go any farther, Barb could, in terms of the pump station data, the runtime data that they need to do the flow analysis, how many gaps now that they have in your mind? How much data are we missing?
There was mostly what from his email about the 2018 timeframe. That is all blank. I did go back and look at my own records, and it is. But he also said in that same email, he did not think it was worth the effort of trying to go back, I thought, this is from the email several days ago, that he thought he had enough work to work with now and not have to go back to Swiss and try to get that information.
Okay, so yeah, and so I had a call with the lead engineer and David this morning. They will proceed with what they have. I think it's good enough to give us a broad trends in those areas. We don't 3 years of complete data for them to see if there's any trends that will point us towards one region over another. So I think we're okay on the contract side. I do have major concern about small water not giving us the data though, and we should make sure we capture what those are. Maybe you have it now, Barb, from them, so that we can have that on our list of things that small water owes us. That data should be at small water. Now maybe it's handwritten data and they never extracted it and put an Excel file, so maybe it's inconvenient for them to give it to to our contractor. But if it's written, it's better that we get it and have it in our files, so that if it does seem to become important, we have it. Because once small water's gone, if we don't have this data, it's gone. You can't go back and get it. So I think that should be something we should make sure that legal is aware of, that we have not gotten all the data that they contractually, and it's a contractual requirement for them to take that data.
Why don't you give Barbara a list of what we need from SWS?
Well, this subject, she has it. She has it more accurate than I do, because she found some of what what Woodward and Corn were missing. And as you said, I think it's just, one or two big, chunks, time period. I don't think it's a long list. I think it's a short list of a lot of data. So anyway, so that's good news. Woodward and Curran is proceeding. We don't owe them any information at this time for them to continue their work. They feel right now that the next milestone between us was a interim meeting and report and discussion, face to face, Zoom to Zoom, whatever. And we have tentatively scheduled that for the 9th, which is our first meeting in June. I told them we'd discuss it tonight and see if we wanted to stick, with that date and have that be part of that meeting. I don't think we should give it as much time as it needs, but I don't think it should take an hour to just see where they are in the direction and then take it home from there. So I think we're in good stead. I asked them because one of the other big data that's hopefully got part of the answer is our pump station, our manhole data that on our 400 almost manholes, that have predicted inflows in each one of them and what repairs they need. I asked them when they get this first indication of if there are general areas, if there's a couple, 3 areas that look like they're major contributors, if they could look at that pump station, we'll call it pump station, that manhole data, see if in those areas, if there's anything particularly interesting about the manholes, then get a layer down, not only where the area is, but maybe where there's issues coming from. So I think they're doing real well. They're preparing for that June 9th, and we just need to confirm that tonight. Now I can close the loop with them on that. And hopefully we could get this thing, all wrapped up. I'm trying to encourage them to get it done before the end of the fiscal year for both our sakes, so they can get the billing and we can get the answer and move on. But we'll have that discussion on the 9th.
Does anyone have a concern about them coming in on June 9th? Mike?
Oh, I'm good.
Brett?
Yeah, it's obviously a priority to find out where that problem is. But I have nothing to add at this time.
I have no problem on the 9th. Bob, you want to schedule them coming on the 9th?
Absolutely.
Again, we're doing it remotely, which odds are, from what I'm hearing, we still will be. So we'll do a 4 o'clock meeting. Carl, are they available at 4?
I actually didn't ask about the specific time. I bet they prefer 4.
Yeah, why don't we do that?
Great,
Jack,
thank you.
Jack, any questions?
I don't, thank you.
Okay. All right, anything else on that one? Next one is discussions about the re-elections due to COVID-19. I did some checking, and since there's no caucus, how do we get on the ballots and what do we got to do? And I'd recommend right now that you talk to all your friends and do a write-in campaign. You can do a sticker campaign if you like, which means your name would go, give it to someone who's going in to vote and just say, put this on the sewer commission or president or whatever you want to be. But sewer commission has been known not to have many members signing up. So I was still going to go for the 1 year, the 2 year, and the 3 year. Brett, you're taking on the 3. John's taking on the 2. I'm taking on the 1. Mike's going to be reappointed, and Kyle is going to Disneyland, I think.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not up, so it's not an issue. On the write-in sticker thing, that's generally a good idea. I know we had done that. I think for Joe Anderson probably. If to take that route, I'd get a hold of Kathy, because the sticker has to be a certain size and have certain information on it, just to make sure it's a valid vote. Otherwise, you'll go stick the sticker on and invalidate the whole vote.
The last person I know who did it was Sue Bunish, I think, that I know of. Because I know Mike, I think you did the stickers for her, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, we do have the size, but I guess the question is, do we want to do a sticker campaign? Brett, you know what a sticker campaign is?
No, I'm a little lost on that one.
You would stand down by the entrance going into the town voting at TCP and hand people your name, say, I'd like you to go for the sewer for 3 years, and they'd go in and put your name in there. Or you could do the write-in and just ask a lot of your friends to do a write-in ballot.
That sounds like the easier way.
You can
I
have
think
it
if the sticker,
Go ahead, Carl.
if you had a sheet of stickers and, you know, and gave them to 20 people, I think you'd be assuring. I don't think you have to stand outside town hall. I mean,
Yeah, you could do it that way too. Now, the election, what we say it was June
20th.
20th, so we got time. But Mike, how much would you charge for 30 signatures?
Well, don't we have to send it out for bids?
Can I just
I'll bid
interject
on it.
something?
I don't think it's not going to be a major thing, obviously. Go ahead, Bob.
Go ahead, Bob.
It was just, when I spoke to Kathy about it briefly, she also suggested, you know, just a postcard campaign to some of your closest friends and just put in exactly that, and they can bring that postcard with them to the election or on their ballot. She just said, you know, other people have done a postcard as opposed to a sticker campaign. She warned me that some of the stickers are sometimes not, excuse me, they end up shifting on the ballot. So she was saying postcards are even sometimes better, and it gets right to the people you want them to, and they have the information right there.
So what do they do? Take the postcard in and write your name on the ballot?
Right.
I mean, I think we all have 20 friends that we could call and
Right.
and say,
Okay. No, it was just another. I had sticker campaign and postcard campaign. So.
okay, well, we'll figure it out between now and then. I mean, again, you can put it on Facebook. You're running. You must know 20 people in town. So, okay, but that's the only way you're going to be able to make it come back. So, I don't think you have time to pull papers, but
No.
I wouldn't. Okay, minutes.
We're concerned.
4:23 minutes. Anybody read them?
I reviewed them. They look pretty straightforward.
Okay,
Same thing here.
looking for a motion
I
to,
think they're fine.
for a motion? Anybody?
I move we approve the minutes of 4:23 and 4:28.
Second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? See none. All in favor? Mike?
Aye.
Aye.
Carl?
Aye.
Aye for myself. Minutes for 4:28.
Carl did it in both.
That motion with both of them.
Okay, I missed that. Everybody understood that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to talk about the time of the meeting. 4 o'clock is turning out to be a little bit difficult for me to make it. I'm making it, but obviously I'm just making it. I'm working in Hopkinton on a very important project for a farm, and it's just a ways to get here. And
You want to go back to 7?
didn't know what. No, I mean, even if we could do 5 would be very helpful.
Problem with 5. Anybody have any questions or comments?
I'm okay with 5.
No, 5's good.
Barb?
I like the idea of, having the meeting early. I'm still good with that. It's just 4 is a little too tough.
How about 6 a.m.?
No.
You should be working on the water department then. Yeah, they have their meetings at 6.
Oh, geez.
Okay. So the next meeting, Barb, can you make the adjustment? We'll make it a 5 o'clock.
Absolutely.
Thank you all. I appreciate it.
It's all about Brett.
Great.
Mr. Chairman, I certainly support that request and happy about that. But will we use a different number, call-in number than the selectmen then, just in case we run late? So I think they have 2 numbers.
They have 2 numbers now. I just found that out last week.
Okay.
So yeah.
I will ask Heather for the other one.
The other one. Thank you.
I mean, the meetings early in the afternoon, it works out for me, and I think it'll work out for a lot of commission, especially during the summer months. I mean, but I don't know. I mean, but do we have to have them on Tuesday nights at 7 o'clock? In the future? I mean, we're all getting old, you know? But let's do 5 the next meeting.
Sounds great.
Speak for yourself, Dave.
Yeah, I know. Minutes for 5:26.
No, that was, we just jumped to that agenda item. So that was meeting of 5:26. We'll be at 5. And I was questioning remote, but it sounds as if you think it's still remote in June. So I think we're remote at 5.
You know, we're in the 4-step phasing plan, which I have no idea what phase 1 is gonna be yet, but
Yeah.
that's part of phase 2. And they're still planning to do the phase 1, so who knows? I know we'll know during the week. Business manager report, go ahead.
Right, I'm just, as you've heard already, I'm working on the bills. It's important, this is the last quarter of the year. The sooner they get out, the more revenues that can go against the year they should go against. So I've basically put up my wall and said, that's it, I'm doing billing. So understand if I put you off. Invoices for review, I have 2 tonight. I've got a Woodard and Curran. Is that right? Hold on, I'm gonna look at it. I have an amount of 883. That seems, well, I think that is right. Okay, hold on, I'm getting there. Yep, Woodard and Curran, dated April 30th for work through April 24th for 883.26. And Carl probably knows exactly what they were working. It has received remaining data from the commission, begun the analysis, and continuing to work on the analysis. So that was for 883. As long as that's okay with everybody, I will process it.
Good with me.
Okay.
Good.
Do you need a vote for that or no?
No, it's the one that would just take your initial. I will note that it was reviewed at meeting. The other one is Mead Tollerman and Costas, the legal invoice. The 1170, this is all 1170 for April's billing. It is 1,225.02. It brings our legal expenses up to 6280.37. As you know, we usually budget around 5,000 every single year. So we're above, we're okay, it's absorbing, but I just wanted you aware that, you know, that's what we're up to. And between Swiss and 1170 still not being done, and the RFP, we've probably still got some more legal expenses going on. But for this one, 1229, it's not even necessarily to be approved. This is done as a courtesy from the selectman's office. They get Mead Tollerman's invoice, and it's divvied out as far as how many, who has used the services in the month. So
Okay.
basically a
Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman,
No, go ahead.
just on, you know, if we're talking budget and cost to our users here. We need to be very careful about our legal expenses. And I don't know, it looks like, you know, right now we've overspent. The budget was $5,000. You know, quite a bit on 1170, probably half of that. And I think we need to be careful. We had talked earlier in this discussion about going back to Adam Costa, seeing if we could get him to fill in some of the gaps and on the that, you know, that stuff adds up. And so I think we need to be very, very cautious of that we only use legal for things that are really, you know, really necessary and really legal, because we're going to be up to $10,000 here before we know it if we're not careful.
Bob, what were some of the legal expenses for last year?
for the last year.
What was a big bite of the legal bills?
I don't, at this point in my head, I don't have them in my brain, and my legal invoices at home. So my folder.
Well, I remember, I mean, the last time you gave us a number, we had, before this latest go around, we had $2,000 on 1170.
Yes. Yep.
So we're up to 3,200, and maybe I missed something in between. And I don't know that we could have done less, but I'm just saying that, because that was, real pure legal work. We couldn't have done what he did. It's just when we get to
Right.
areas like writing contracts,
Mm,
I think we need to be very cautious and very frugal of what missions we give council.
right.
I agree with that, but when you're doing a $100,000 contract, I also want to make sure it's done the way the lawyer wants to do it. But it'd be interesting to look at how we spent so much money within the last year. I mean, I think the only thing that I know that legal was involved with
Swiss is a big one.
was Swiss.
Yeah, and he came out,
But that was going all the way back before Mike and I were even on the committee.
right.
You guys are having problems with Swiss. So I think a lot of those bills, Carl, I understand your concerns, but we have to try to recoup some of that too. And that's what I'm saying going forward. When we do something, that would have to be included in the bill. Legal fees.
Yeah, and I think that's a very valid, Swiss, put in that column of things we keep capturing costs for Swiss. I agree.
I mean, I know we used Adam for 1170 Mass Ave. But I think that's the only thing I know that we used.
Yeah, I mean, Barb just said we spent this fiscal year 6,200, and I know at least 3,200 was 1170.
Hmm.
And we're not done, right?
Well, we should be done, so. Okay, but point well taken though, Carl, I understand. Go ahead, Barb.
And that's it. I don't have any updates. I have not heard anything more from Leominster. I haven't had a chance to look at, I've been getting first Tuesday reports, but I haven't compiled them to know who's outstanding. The last one on my list is just the meter import project. The idea that we were going to be able to have Northern Data process our meters is just being held up by the fact that we need to enter all those IDs into the system. Not for FY21, but I mean FY20, but for FY21, I would like to propose getting just some help contractor just to do data entry. We have about 800 meters or 800 and 900 meters closer, and each one takes a good amount of time with our Munis system to replace those numbers, and I just don't have it, and I keep trying. It's just too labor intensive. So in FY21, I can put out some feelers, see if there's anybody, and get an idea for you, but it's just, I'm gonna put up the white flag and say I'm just not gonna be able to get those meters replaced, meter IDs.
So Barbara, on that point, I think you had said something like 10 minutes to change these numbers. Is that still an estimate, you believe?
Times 800 meters.
It's a ridiculous. I mean, in certain aspects is a very ridiculous system. So it is. It takes. Yeah, and anybody wants to come in sometime when I need to do it, or I don't know how we do that with the remote, but just to see what the process is. It's ridiculous.
Have you expressed your concerns to Heather?
About Munis?
Mm-hmm.
Probably not recently, but I have expressed it well before.
Why don't you put everything you just talked about in writing, send a copy of it to this commission, and send a copy of it to Heather.
Okay.
And we got, I hated units from day one, and I don't even know if the town's using that as a whole anymore.
Oh yeah, no, it is.
It's something we got to look at as far as business. It's not business friendly. I don't think.
Yeah, some departments love Munis and some hate it, and I just happen to be one of those that is not a big fan.
The other thing we got to look at is paper. When we have these remote meetings,
Well, you're not supposed to print out everything. I know. Well, what do you want? I mean, I can't not send you an RFP. I can't not send you the memorandum of understanding. I can't. Tell me what you don't want me to send.
guys, got any ideas? Mike?
Well, I think everything she's sending is appropriate. I personally don't have a need to print it though, because I can just pull up while we're having a discussion. So I think printing is a personal issue. But on the munis, we are stuck with it at the town level. But delaying this is costing us time, money, and aggravation on Barb's part. Every time she goes into billing, there's several days lost that she's not available, and that wouldn't be lost if we had this thing implemented. So it looks like 130-ish hours worth of work at 10 minutes. But I'm wondering, Barb, if you, and I know Munis is, outrageous you for doing things, but could we at least get an item quote from them for changing these numbers?
Yeah, I think we did, and it was not, I thought we did a ways back, that there was no, they did not have a tool to do this automatically. And I follow the chats and the forums that Munis puts online, and there's many complaints for the same. There is not a program to do it, and if they did it, it would probably be a lot more than just getting someone to do some data entry for us.
Yeah, but could we at least try, because hiring somebody to do this one event task doesn't feel right. I mean, this is an event, 130 hours. Maybe they have some contract. Maybe Munis has some contractors they could refer us to that that know how to do this kind of thing. And even if they do a brute force, I don't care. We're going to pay to get it done one way or another. But through you, we're paying in several ways.
So you're asking to have Munis do it, or to get references for who
To
might?
talk to Munis, see, could they do it? Would they do it? If they don't do it, can they refer us to some subcontractor that does work for them that could just simply do this brute force data entry?
I agree with Kyle, what he's saying, except go through Heather first.
Yeah. Whatever. Yeah.
Do exactly what Kyle just said, but send it to Heather first. Let her have her recommendations put on top of that. Don't call Munis without going to the town manager or your direct supervisor. Anybody agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously an incredible amount of work, and Barbara's always putting her best foot forward, and she's got her hands full. And if she's this exasperated by this project on a regular basis, I think we need to find some kind of alternative, but what you suggested is probably the right direction.
Yeah, I'm anxious to get it done also. It would be a wonderful thing.
There's a rainbow on the other side here. Okay, anything else? Any public comment? Mike?
Nope.
Carl?
Nope. Pretty productive meeting and good timing. Thank you.
Brett?
I have nothing to add myself. Wow, it's only 5:30. How about that?
I know, good, huh?
Back to work, Brett.
Yeah, back to work. Barb, any comments?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Okay, then the only comment I have is for everybody to be safe, and like I said before at the beginning, take care of your neighbors and take care of your family, and God bless you all. Have a good night. It was a productive meeting. Thank
Everybody
you.
take care.
Take a motion.
Thank
Motion,
you all. On a motion, right? We got to do a
Yeah.
motion.
I'm looking for a motion. Mike,
I'll take a motion to end this meeting at 5:28 on May 12th.
Second that motion.
we got 2 more minutes. Any discussion?
Yes, I'd like to thank you all for being willing to meet at 5 o'clock next.
Well, you said the drinks are on you after the meeting, so that's the only reason why.
I understand.
Okay. Okay, looking for
Good night, gentlemen.
a
Good night,
vote.
Barb.
Mike,
Night, Jack, if you're still there.
Mike,
We're done.
Carl,
Aye.
Good night. Aye.
Aye.
I for
Aye.
myself. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
night,
Good night.
thanks.
Thank you all.
Good night, all.
I gotta stop the recording here.
Okay, thanks, Dave.
Good meeting, Bob. Good job.
All right, yep, you too.